Scott with Mayhem RC, and I want to do a quick review this morning about the Losi Tenacity DB PRO. I do a lot of rock crawling, so most of the time everything that I'm running is just rock crawlers, but lately I've gotten into some just bashing and things. Good friend of mine named Keith Turner, who who's been in this hobby as long as I have. We started when we were kids. I'm now 48, so yeah, it's been a while. But probably about 4 years ago, he had a Losi SEBE, very similar to this vehicle, almost identical, and it was an awesome rig. And he sold it because we got into some other things and other vehicles and stuff, and wanted something else. So he sold it, and man, both of us, even though it wasn't my rig, both of us have missed it ever since. And then so a couple months ago, we decided that when the Tenacity came out, I thought at first, I'm like, man, this is going to be awesome. It's just like an SEBE. And the more I looked at it, it really had the same style, but it really wasn't like an SEBE. Because an SEBE was just like an SCTE, aluminum chassis, aluminum shocks, all the good parts that Losi puts into a vehicle. So, but the Tenacity, when it first came out, was all plastic. It had a bottom loading battery door, and I'm not knocking Losi for that. They just maybe they were testing the waters, maybe they were wanting to see what the excitement would be for the vehicle to come back out with this. I don't really know what their purpose was. All I know is that it looked like the vehicle I wanted, but it wasn't the vehicle I wanted. Because it was all plastic and would really take a lot of upgrades to take the abuse that the old SEBE would take. So anyway, fast forwarding, we got word that the DB Pro was coming out. And so watched some videos, saw a lot of torture that it went through, and it absolutely did. So we decided to get one. He got the Fox version, the black and white. I went with the Lucas Oil. Both rigs look great. Can't go wrong with either one. But the difference between this and the regular Tenacity is all the upgraded parts. So what I love about this is the same thing the SEBE did, as well as the regular Tenacity. It has the flip top body as well. Spectrum's put all their smart technology in here with the ABC and everything, so it makes it just an absolute pleasure to run. But seriously, the rig is absolutely almost bulletproof right out of the box. The way it comes to you. The only thing that I changed was I took the RTR remote and gave it to someone, and I put my DX5 rugged in it. I bound, I guess I should say, my DX5 rugged to it, and it drives flawlessly. Changed the servo. The servo that comes in it is typical, RTR servo. It's a Spectrum, very low speed, very low torque. So I put a Savox SE 1258 in it for high speed, a little more torque, a lot more speed, very quick, very responsive servo. But other than that, the only upgrades that I've done to this vehicle outside of the servo and added some rear lights to it were the aluminum chassis braces. You can see here that they come down from the front, from the rear gearbox down to the chassis, as well as there's one in the front that goes from the front gearbox down to the chassis. Those came plastic, and So I just decided to go ahead and turn those, switch them out for the aluminum ones, give it a little more rigidity, protect the chassis a little more. The other upgrade too, I'll flip it over right quick just to show you guys. I put a chassis skin or a protector on the bottom. It's not pretty, it doesn't look great after it gets beat up, but it does protect the chassis and keep it from getting all those rock scars and everything. And of course we put the chassis skids on the front and the rear to keep the abuse down to a minimum. But and it's just a great looking rig, guys. I mean, you know, it's awesome. It looks great, but more than looking great, it absolutely performs great. We were out at our bass location here in Georgia. I guess most people would call it Atlanta, Georgia, but we were out in Villa Rica, Georgia, and it was just had a ramp out there, and I was sending this vehicle full speed. It runs 55, 60 miles an hour right out of the box on 3S. And I was sending this vehicle a good, well, there's a video of it going over my head, and I'm 6'1". So it was jumping over my head, but jumping out 60 feet. Like 60 feet from the ramp where it took off. And the only thing that I have ever broken on this rig, the one thing that's different about the Tenacity, even though it does have the Losi shocks, they're aluminum bodied, aluminum capped, great shocks, very smooth, very, you know, just buttery smooth. But the difference in the SEBE and the Tenacity is there are E-clips inside here that hold the little dampener on. The SEBE had actual threaded nuts that held it on. So I had this rear shock on the right side. I actually had it blow out. Basically, the shaft came out of the bottom and it just popped both of the E-clips off. So it was like literally a $1 fix. I had to get 2 E-clips and put them back on the shock shaft. It didn't bend the shock shaft. It didn't tear the body of the shock up. It didn't mess up any of the O-rings. It didn't mess up the spring. It didn't do any of that. It just popped those 2 little E-clips off. And that was after about probably 15 times jumping out 60 feet. And that's literally all that has broken. Well, I take that back. I did take this vehicle to, what was it? I'm drawing a blank on the event we went to down in Florida. It was a scale event, but they had a bash park. I did launch this thing off a quarter pipe ramp about 35 feet straight up in the air. And when it came down, it broke a drive cup right here in the very front. It actually split this drive cup. And the other good thing about this vehicle is these gearboxes, like the drive cups are like $11. You can get the whole gearbox with the gears inside, differential, everything for $19. And then you just take off the front section, pop the other gearbox in, you're ready to go. So not only is it crazy durable and hella fast, it's also inexpensive to fix when you do break it. The only other issue that I've had with this vehicle, and like I said, this is a review, so I'm going to tell you about it. The only other problem I've had with this vehicle is the tires. The stock tires tend to try to come unglued from the wheels. So I've actually glued back a couple of them, and not the whole tire, but just in spots. They'll turn loose a little bit. But other than that, man, literally have put this thing through the ringer. It's a beast. It really is a beast. So if you guys are looking for something Losi and you really want to have some fun bashing out there, I'll show you the tail lights right quick I put on here just to give it a little bit of a, you know, because it has this cool light bar up here, just like the Rock Ray. So I added 2 rear red LEDs in the back just to give it that look of a, you know, a real vehicle. But yeah, I mean, I have really put this thing through the ringer, and you can see like it's taken a beating, and it has just literally taken it and like it don't even care. This is definitely a vehicle that I would say that you can beat on, and it just keeps coming back for more. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up this morning about this. If you want a really good, and I think the price point, if I remember correctly, I think I paid somewhere around $450, $475 for this vehicle, RTR out of the box. And it has been awesome. It is a vehicle that I will probably never get rid of, and I will run it until it just won't run anymore, because it is that awesome. And like I said, when my friend Keith sold his SEBE, we missed it ever since, because I used to run it from time to time, even though it was his. And this is one vehicle I've had now for about 6 or 7 months, and I'm glad I picked it up, and it won't be going anywhere. But hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It's sun shining here in Georgia. It's going to be 87 degrees outside, and I'm going to go find a place to get this thing dirty again. I just got it good and cleaned up, got it back to 100%. I got my shock fixed today, and I'm ready to take it back out and just beat it up a little more. You guys have a great afternoon, great morning, great afternoon. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe. Hey, and if you didn't like the video, give me the thumbs down. I'm good with that too. I can take some constructive criticism. But if you guys if y'all have one of these vehicles, or if you have another bash vehicle that you just love, tell me about it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Take care, guys.